Good morning everyone, it's Peter, Iridium Consulting. So a number of years ago, on a Saturday morning, I met a new mountaineering friend for the first time ever. And I met him again later on that day. And during the day, he'd been climbing with a group of friends of mine for the first time ever in his life. And the second time I met him, he was overjoyed, he was excited, he was thrilled with what he'd done during the day. And I remember him saying to me, "Peter, I did it. I took that one step." And then he said something very interesting. He said, "I never believed I would be able to do anything like that." And when I inquired of him, "What did you do? What was it you actually did?" He said, "I took a step from here to here, half a meter. For me, no big deal, but for him, a huge challenge." And he said, "Look, Peter, it took me 15 minutes to pluck up the courage to do that." He was in his 50s when he took that one step. And that one step across from here to here, changed his life, opened up so many new opportunities of challenge, of excitement, of fulfillment in the outdoors and in the mountains. And think about the second part of what he said. "I never believed I would be able to do anything like that." So often it's our lack of self-belief that holds us back. We've got to make that choice, we've got to make that step, we've got to find the belief in ourselves. And I say to my clients, make the step, look back and be glad you've done it. Otherwise, you're going to be forever wondering, what would it have been like if I'd made that one simple step? So I'm going to continue that theme of taking simple steps in the mountains. I was in the Swiss Alps with a friend of mine a number of years ago. We were there to climb a bigger mountain, but we had a couple of days to warm up. And there was a mountain close to us that I felt we could climb in a day. And I said to my friend, "Why don't we go in and have a look at that mountain tomorrow?" So he said yes. So the next morning, we put our ropes in our rucksacks, we put our rucksacks on our backs, and we hiked into the base of the mountain. And when we got there, I looked upwards, and I could see 50 meters upwards, and I said to my friend, "Why don't we try the first 50 meters? It doesn't look too bad. If we don't like it, we can turn around, we can come back down, we can abseil back off." And he looked up and he was comfortable. He said, "Yeah, let's try that." He could see ahead. So we got up 50 meters. And I looked at him and I said, "Look, do you know what? The next 50 meters doesn't look too bad. Why don't we do that? We're still not too far above the ground." And he looked up and he looked down and he could see ahead. And he said, "Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's do that." So after another 50 meters, he turned to me and he said, "Look, I can see ahead another 50 meters. It doesn't look too bad. Let's go that next 50 meters. And we get up another 50 meters. And then he looked up to the top of the mountain. He could see it ahead. And he said to me, "Look, Peter, we've made 150 meters of progress. I can see the top of the mountain. Why don't we plan to climb this mountain today?" And I looked at him and I said, "Kevin, that's a great plan. Why don't we do that?" And we kept going. We put our hearts into it. We put our minds into it. And that day we got to the top of that mountain. Sometimes we have to look at planning like that. If you make a big plan, it doesn't work. You have to start on the steps you can see. You have to work on the first stage of what you're trying to achieve. And when you get there, work on the second stage. And after a while, the bigger plan will begin to fall into place. What I've said is very, very applicable to business. I was talking to a client this time last year about a particular project. And I said to him, "You're not planning that very well." And he said, "Yeah, I know. Can you help us?" So I worked with him on that project for the last year. And now we have something much more structured, much more planned. It's about vision, it's about destination, it's about him, it's about the company, it's about where they're going, it's about the route they're taking. They've looked at partners, they've decided on budgets. Now they understand what they're trying to achieve. Now they understand the bigger plan. If I had said to his company a year ago, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to spend, they would have turned around to me and said, Peter, get lost, that doesn't make sense. Sometimes business projects can be like that. You need to start working on what you know, what you can see. You need to work with people as far as they're comfortable. And when you start doing that and spend a bit of time working on that project, the bigger goal, the bigger destination, the bigger vision will come into view and will become attainable because you've taken the first steps. And what I've just said is very applicable if you're a small business owner or a new business owner trying to create a business plan. Sometimes it can be difficult to see and understand and write down that bigger vision. Start with what you know. Start with the steps you're already taking, and from there the plan will grow into something bigger. I worked with a client a couple of months ago on a business plan. He wasn't quite sure what the bigger picture was, but we took what he was doing on a daily basis, multiplied that to get a weekly income and expenditure, and from that we were able to project what his annual income and expenditure should be and create a much bigger, viable business plan. I've talked about a number of different concepts in this video. I've talked about starting, taking the first step on that new project or that new business. I've also talked about building that business plan, whether it's a business plan or a project plan. Maybe you don't see the final goal, the final destination just yet, but start on it and have confidence that the destination will come into view. If you want a conversation about any of these topics, give me a call, the number is on screen, or if you want to email me, my email address is there as well. That's me, Peter, Iridium Consulting. Thanks for listening.